Hey, all you coon hunters, speak to 'em, Pete. Man, just listen what a jaw on a dog. Hello, this is Jimmy. There's no one at the phone right now, but I'll be back shortly. As you know, you gotta really hunt for the good life. Now, if you have a message, if you'll leave your name and phone number, I'll get back in touch with you. You can leave your message at the sound of the beep, and I thank you for calling.
You have strictly got a home on wheels.
Yes.
That's when I say free-going man, seems like everybody's asleep. Sound like it. You know what I mean. Going to the Southland. Too much now, just cut it off him. One more time. I was born way down in the Southland. That's good. Yeah, somebody do that.
King of bluegrass music, make welcome from Nashville, Tennessee, Nitty Martin.
Comes your song, buddy. You got your men Ralph Stanley on your head. You might as well get ready to put mud in that head when I get through with it. I was born way down, Lord, in the Southland. Woo-wee. Hang on, children. I ran away for the first time. When I was 4 years old, I'm a free-born man. My little home is on my back. I know every highway, every foot of back road, every mile of railroad track. Got a gal in Cincinnati, got a woman in San Antonio. Said I always love the girl next door. To any place that's home, I'm a free-born man. My little home is on my back. I know every...
Jimmy Martin was born and raised in the farming town of Sneedville in the hills of eastern Tennessee. There he grew up fascinated by the sounds of the weekly broadcast of WSM's Grand Ole Opry. With the 50,000-watt clear channel, the Nashville-based Opry reached households from coast to coast and has long been the pinnacle of the live country music radio shows.
That's my first guitar that I ever had. I listened to the Grand Ole Opry, and Prince Albert was their sponsor. She's long, she's tall, she's 6 feet from the ground. She's long, she's tall, she's 6 feet from the ground. She tell him, hey, Lord, Lord, but she ain't no hand me down. Oh, lay Bob, how you doing?
I'm up in Iowa freezing my butt off.
Freezing your butt off?
Yeah.
Well, now, it's not too warm here.
Well, how you been doing?
Have you had a good winter?
Yeah, pretty good. We did okay. How you been doing?
Well, I've been doing great. Been doing a lot of hunting.
The real thing I want to know is they're putting Dr. Ralph Stanley on the Grand Ole Opry as a member, and I'm wondering why can't they do the same for you?
Well, I don't guess they want to. You know, I ain't got good enough yet. What do you think about
You
it?
mean you still got to practice after 50 years of playing?
Well,
Maybe the Grand Ole Opry and their new manager ought to reconsider.
yeah.
And maybe make a phone call to Jimmy Martin and say, Jimmy, would you like to be on the Grand Ole Opry?
You know what I'd say?
What would you tell him?
No, hell no. I don't care nothing about being on the Grand Ole Opry because I don't want to be on the Grand Ole Opry. I hear it that it's going down, and if they can't, and look here, it is what they say. And if I can't be on it and help the Grand Ole Opry and them pushing me around and making me look like I'm a nothing, just go right ahead. I am somebody, and I'm living good and doing anything I want to. I'd say I just don't care about the Grand Ole Opry. I love it, and I love what it's done with Hank Williams, Bill Monroe, and Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs, but they've treated me so bad that they could just take and go on down to the dogs if they don't want to come back up, tree coons and rabbit hunt with me. That's it.
It's kind of like keeping poor Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame in baseball. Pete Rose was one of the greatest ball players there ever was, and Jimmy Martin's one of the greatest bluegrass musicians there ever was. They should have already put him in the Opry, and I'm saying that I'm on the Opry. Should have done made him a member, and I feel that they've cheated Jimmy out of that, and I just don't think it's right.
Jimmy is the kind of entertainer that made the Opry. He doesn't just drape himself around a microphone. I mean, there's something going all the time, and Jimmy was always different from the herd. He's always been a rebel. He's been a renegade all his life.
Jimmy always wanted to have a show, you know, rather than just four dead guys up there like posts. The old style bluegrass thing where there's three or four guys standing around looking at each other, you know, and playing. That's not where it's at with Jimmy.
He can have an audience in the palm of his hand after the first verse and the chorus of a song, quicker than anybody ever seen in my life. And they'll hang right there with him. He just got that knack.
If ever I get back to that state of Tennessee, I tell you there'll be no more roaming for me. That little sweetheart said she'd marry me. As soon as I get back to that state of Tennessee, Tennessee, I hear you calling me. I hear you calling me. The home of Davy Crockett in the hills of Tennessee.
Thank you.
A lot of people think this is really strange, and this is really strange. When I first heard that Jimmy Martin had put up his own tombstone, everybody that came to Nashville, this became an instant part of my tour. I brought countless people out here. As a kid, Lester Flatt told me that Acuff's tombstone went up, you know, 30 or 40 years before he passed away, and he used to bring flowers to his own tomb. But nobody talked about that. There was no controversy there. This caused a stir.
In the beautiful hills, way back in old Sneedville, there's where I have from. Our next little place we come to will be my hometown, Sneedville, where I was born and raised. This little old valley sure looks good up through here, don't it? Brings back a lot of memories. We always had to work about 6 days a week, get off on Sunday, and after feed the hogs of a morning, walk about 3 miles back through the woods to Reuben Gibson's. He's the only one in that country that had a guitar and let me play it. He learned me the chords so I could learn to play and sing. Me and Dwayne Wilder and Ralph Hurley with the guitar and the mandolin got us a good trio. On Sundays, you'd catch us in the shade of an old apple tree somewhere on the side of the road. My dad passed away when I was 4 years old, and I don't remember too much about him. My mother always milk the cows every morning and at night and churn the butter. A lot of the food that we eat during the winter, she'd can it during the summer. She was a real hard-working woman. My granddad Martin would often sit down in the swing on his porch when I'd go down and visit him and tell me about my dad. Love my granddad sitting around telling me all that.
All the good times have passed and gone. All the good times are over.
This was the last house that I lived in when I put my guitar on my back and started walking down the road, thumbing me a ride. Stopped by my granddad Martin's, borrowed $10 off of him to go to Morristown, Tennessee and get me a job in a factory. Then I got fired on the job. I was singing too much and everybody said I couldn't sing. So they fired me for singing on the job. So I went down to the Grand Ole Opry and met Bill Monroe and sung a couple of songs with him, and he hired me. Then I went back to Morristown, Tennessee and thanked the man for firing me, told him he could listen in on Saturday night and hear me on the Grand Ole Opry with Bill Monroe. Things kind of look sad around here. Old house just don't look the same. It looks like it's now had its best days, don't it? Of course, my grandpa's been dead for a long time.
Bill Monroe is one of the most important musical figures to ever come through this town. I mean, he came here with kind of an unfinished style of music. And the defining moment to me was when he had finally stacked up Lester Flatt and Chubby Wise and Cedric Rainwater. But the defining moment came when Earl Scruggs walked in the dressing room and tried out for the gig and got it. Lester was really a crooner. I mean, he really was one of the greatest lead singers that's ever been. Lester really he made the mold, and he set the bar for most bluegrass lead singers. If you fast forward that thing we call bluegrass music to when Jimmy Martin came to the band, he put a whole new spin on what being a lead singer in the Bluegrass Boys meant. There was a drive and a lonesome sound that he brought with him, and I think he really took Monroe's music from that original blueprint to a whole new place.
Jimmy was a whole different style of guitar player than Lester Flatt, who was a thumb pick, finger pick type of a player, and Jimmy was a flat pick player. Jimmy Martin had a drive and a tone on his guitar that no other guitar player has got. Absolutely can push you, can make you go where he wants you to go with his guitar.
The tone of my voice was a long ways from Lester Flatt and had to sing them in a higher key. So songs that him and Lester Flatt would do in G, while me and Bill would move them up to A, which would give it a higher sound. And anything that him and Lester do in A, we'd move it up to B and C.
He fit Bill vocally to a T. And if it changed for the good. Because some of the greatest stuff that Bill Monroe ever did was done with Jimmy Martin.
Mother left this world of sorrow, her home was silent and so sad. Dad took sick and had to leave us. I have no home, no mother nor dad. There's a little lonesome graveyard on these tombstones, as they say.
Get in there, Dolly. Get up in it. She is in there.
Get in there, Rambo. Come on, Lily. Get in there, girl. Get in there, girl. Hey!
Yeah, she done got it.
Let's go check them out, boys. Something up there.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
Tell
what do you think about that? Looks like they got him.
They've got him. They've got him. Just hang loose here a minute. Let them have a little fun. Get in there, Rambo. Get in there, Rambo. If he whoops all of them, we'll know he's a good one, won't we?
Let's see how good a shot you are.
All right. Where you want that coon hit at?
Where do I want to hit him?
Yeah.
Well, you know where to hit him, Jay.
All right, tell me.
Hit him in the round brown and get him on the ground for the hound so we'll have a good fight.
All right, then. Let's see what we can do
Oh,
with it.
bust him right there. Can you see him good?
Yeah, I think I got a little bit of a shot on. Oh, what you got? I popped him. Get him, dog!
So he's run down time. Let's get him in the truck, boys. Has everybody enjoyed the good old bluegrass picking and singing up until now? Let's hear from you, have you? Well, as I always say, I hope I don't come out here and spoil the evening for you. We've had some requests and we've had some not requests. So, do what? What'd you say?
He's going to talk to you.
He's going to talk to me. One jackass at a time, buddy, and I'm him right now. Don't start arguing with me. If you want to play horse and meet me around the back, and I'll be the head and you act natural. I'm all wound up tonight, eh? I used to sing this to my wife when I was married. Now all I've got to sing it to is my old girlfriend. There'll come a day when you're old and gray, when all your friends have strayed away. Then I'll look at you and say you had it, but it got away. God and sing, you better save it, save it. God and sing, you better save it, save it. God and sing, you better save it, save it. Baby, I might need you someday. Honking around, stop your pain up the town. Change away from what you did. If you don't stop, you'll flip your lid. God and sing, you better save it, save it. God and sing, you better save it, save it. God and sing, you better save it, save it. Baby, I might need you someday. Baby, I might need you someday.
In 1954, after 5 years as Bill Monroe's lead singer and rhythm guitarist, Jimmy left Monroe's Bluegrass Boys. Ready to establish himself as a frontman, he teamed up with Bobby and Sonny Osborne to form Jimmy Martin and the Osborne Brothers.
I was already offered a job with RCA Victor and Decca Records when I left Bill Monroe. All I had to do was just get a good band. So that's how I started the men, the Osborne Brothers. When we teamed up, we went to Detroit with Casey Clark and the Lazy Ranch Boys. Wasn't even standing room in the auditorium every Saturday night. People come to hear us play and sing.
20/20 vision and walking round blind.
In the early 50s, Jimmy started dating Barbara Gibson, a Nashville woman he met during his time with Bill Monroe. They soon started a family together, and Barbara began helping Jimmy with his solo career. By 1955, Jimmy and Barbara had 2 boys, Timmy and Ray, but their relationship was stormy and often on shaky ground.
20/20 vision and walking round blind.
Let's see where this is from. This is from one we got today from EMI. Let's see what song that was about. Let's see. That was Losing You Might Be the Best Thing Yet. And that's when it Paul Williams wrote when I busted up with a woman that I lived with. We recorded that back in '60. That's some royalties from foreign countries like Japan and Germany, Italy, Sweden, Switzerland, all them foreign countries. My records sales pretty good over there. This is a check here from University Group West. I think it says $1,103.08. That'll kind of help me pay my electric bill. I don't think I'll have to play the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night or Friday night to get a little bit of money to pay that bill, do you? Let's see, let's see where this is from.
That guy. Traveling down this long, lonesome highway, I'm so lonesome I could cry. Memory of how we once loved each other, and now you are saying goodbye. On and on I follow my darling, and I wonder where she can be. On and on I follow my darling, and I wonder if she ever thinks of me.
Like when I tried out for Bill, he said he wanted me to go along a week with him. Said we work hard and it's rough. I want to see how you like the road, and you can go along a week and see how rough it is. Well, I remember what I told him when I got back. He said, what do you think? I said, well, it's a lot easier than digging a ditch or plowing behind a horse and hauling hay to the barn and hauling manure from the barn and putting it on the back. I said, I believe I'd rather pig. So when I got back, about 10 o'clock Saturday morning, he looked at me and said, if you want to work with me, you got the job, just go home and get your clothes.
On and on I'll follow my darling, and I wonder where she can be. On and on I'll follow my darling, and I wonder if she ever thinks of me.
That's a big mountain. Better slow her on down there, Chubby. That's a steep hill there. Better get her on down that low gear. Hey, hold her, Chubby. Don't you run us off in this big holler. Boy, getting to Ralph Stanley is the damnedest thing I ever seen in my life. I don't see how poor Ralph got out here with his banner, do you?
No, it's pretty bad.
Howdy, sir.
How you doing?
All right.
Boy, it looks like we're going to have a lot of fun around here today.
I'll give you a boxcar wheelie before I go.
Let's hear it. From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, to the queen of flowing mountains, oh, the Southland by the shore. You can hear the hum of the engine, hear that lonesome hobo squall. You're traveling through the jungles on the Wabash Cannonball. Yeah! Do it one more time. If I ever record that, I want you to do that for me.
Okay.
Okay. One more time. Got my hat set looking good. Huh?
I'm sorry, Johnny. I'm sorry. Well, you're wild tonight, ain't you? I don't like you.
Looks good, don't it? Can't get down my blue eyes with the Stanley brothers. Hey. give a great big hand to now a star of the Grand Ole Opry, my friend Ralph Stanley, would you?
Yeah, I guess everybody you know in the music business looks forward or would like to be on the Grand Ole Opry. Well, I would say it's just prestige, you know. I've been in the movies and everything, but I still respect the Grand Ole Opry, and that was one of my highlights, is to get on the Grand Ole Opry, because it's a music show that's been going so long, and there have been so many great people here on the Grand Ole Opry.
I can say tonight that I'm getting to sing with a star of the Grand Ole Opry. A lot of them won't sing with me, but Ralph does. So Ralph, I'm glad you're down there, and I'll listen to you and watch you on TV every time you're on. I want you to know that, and listen to you on the radio. And I'm glad you get down there where you can show Porter Wagner and Bill Anderson and all them guys and how good old mountain music sounds.
Appreciate that, Jimmy.
I do.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad.
Appreciate it.
Did you say, do I want it fast? No, about half fast. What'd it do for me and him be down there at that Grand Ole Opry together? Ready? Ready. There's a rabbit in a log and he got my door. How will I get him? I know. I'll get me a car and a twisted in her. That's where I'll get him. I know. I know. Yes, I know. That's where I'll get him. I know. I'll get me a car and a twisted in her. That's where I'll get him. I know. When me and the Osborne brothers split up, I was kind of nervous to a certain extent because I'd worked real hard with them. We had something going that ain't nobody else could top us, I don't think. Then I got a hold of Paul Williams and J.D. Crowe. I said, well, I'm going to have to go through all this stuff again. So when I got Paul and J.D., there come to rehearsing 2 and 3 hours every day till we got her down there just like we wanted, to get her runs and back each other and where everything fit.
We left Detroit and went to Shreveport, Louisiana in 1958. A show down there called the Louisiana Hayride on radio station KWKH.
Another fine country-style group from Detroit, Michigan, coming out right now, name of Jimmy Martin and his Sonny Mountain Boys. That's Jimmy right there in the middle.
Thank you so much, Frank. It's awful nice to be down here at the good old Hayride. You know, this is my first time to ever get to visit this thing down here.
We're proud to have you here tonight, Jimmy.
Buddy, you're looking good, too.
Thank you very much.
You're looking awful short to me tonight. We're going to do here one called Hip Parade of Love.
Well, at that time it was the Louisiana Hayride and the Richmond Barn Dance on WRVA and Wheeling Jamboree, WWVA. In Wheeling, West Virginia. And then, of course, it was WSM, the Grand Ole Opry, you know, the granddaddy of them all. To be on a radio station, 50,000 watt, and then once a month be on the CBS radio network, you know, was a pretty big lift. A lot of people on both of those shows, like the Louisiana Hayride, had went from the Hayride to the Opry.
I'd give an ocean of diamonds, a world filled with flowers.
While on the Hayride, Jimmy's recordings were hitting the airwaves throughout the South and Southwest. He was getting great radio play with songs such as Ocean of Diamonds and Sophrony. Then in December of 1958, Rock Hearts became his first recording to break into the Billboard country charts, peaking at number 14.
The sound of that time, Jimmy Martin, Paul Williams, J.D. Crowe, Sonny Mountain Boys, I believe that sound just came together. Jimmy's always had a distinctive lick on the flat top. J.D.'s banjo work, if you listen to his banjo on the Jimmy Martin recordings, that banjo is just about saying the words.
I think Paul's voice matched Jimmy's just to a T. Every little breath, everything they did was together, and it was natural. You know, and that's what made the playing a lot of fun. And then when I sung baritone with him, I knew it was there the same way every time. It was not ever any different. It was the same way that it was on the record. And we did it that way on stage.
And really, Vernon will not eat them, what you call Halloween pumpkins, them big old orange ones. He'll only eat them farm country pumpkins like I was growing up in Sneedville, Tennessee. Them old homegrown pumpkins is the only thing that Vernon will eat. So that's saying he's a pretty doggone good goat. What do you say, Vernon? What do you say, Vernon? What do you say, Vernon? They give me this goat for my birthday, and I didn't know nobody to name him except Vernon Derrick. And that's the best thing I've ever had in my life. He's always going, bah, bah. So, Vernon, we'll see you sometimes. If you play a fiddle on the stage with me, we'll see you. Happy pumpkins.
When people listen to Jimmy or they think about Jimmy, you know, there's a bit of a cartoon character comes to mind. He really, in my opinion, is a musical genius. He is absolutely a stone-cold musical genius.
Not only he invented his own style of music, but he can teach his own style of music. He can tell the mandolin player what he wants to hear, tell the banjo picker what he wants to hear, tell the bass man what's going on, and the fiddle man, all at the same time. He knows whatever instrument's supposed to sound like in his style of music. That's a phenomenon for one man to have that knowledge.
Jimmy taught me so many nuances about show business and about how to play my banjo and get it across to the audience. How to get that across, how to get into your break, and how to, the timing of it, and the where to put the emphasis and why. You know, why would you emphasize, why do you need dynamics here? Why don't you just go through it like a typewriter? Well, you can't do it that way to make it sound good. You know, I remember riding down the road with Jimmy Martin and Paul Williams, and they would tell me that, well, that's the reason why these other guys don't sound good. That's why we sound better than they do. Because they don't know what we know. They don't know how to get that rhythm and that timing and that drive and that tone. They don't know why we sound the way we do. And they would like to sound the way we do, but they can't. You know, when you work for Jimmy, he wanted you to play his music the way he wanted it played. Even if you were out at a job where there was other bluegrass musicians around, you know, suppose Mac Wiseman and his band or somebody, Osborne Brothers were there. He didn't want you over there messing around with those guys. You know, he said, you know what you ought to be doing rather than doing that? You ought to be back in the dressing room there practicing my stuff. Because if you think you've got it right, you don't.
Let's hear you do the Fire on the Mountain now. Hey, doing a little too much hesitating on that long lick.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
You want there too? Okay.
You're hesitating too much right there. Just be up there and get it. Oh, you're hesitating too much right there.
Making it.
You know what a hesitate means?
Yeah.
Stopping.
Okay.
Going into it. You're stopping too much and starting out right there.
Okay.
Going into it. Oh, stop it again. You know what he's doing there? Too much hesitating right there. Don't hesitate there. Hesitate. Stops and starts out there too much, or be there. So you stop. You stop. Stop too much right in there. Got to zip it right on in there. You're going. That's what you're doing now.
Okay.
It's cooler out here than it is on this buffalo. And
In 1960, Jimmy and the Sunny Mountain Boys left the Louisiana Hayride to become regular members of the Wheeling Jamboree in Wheeling, West Virginia. Wheeling's location and its 50,000-watt channel put Jimmy and his music in touch with a whole new audience.
My walking shoes don't fit me anymore. My walking shoes don't fit me anymore. Stay on your side of town, honey, I won't be around. My walking shoes don't fit me anymore.
Boy, that was really exciting to be on the WWVA World's Original Jamboree. I mean, I'd been listening to this radio station and went all up and down the East Coast and way up into the Maritimes in Canada. And I'd been listening to this thing on Saturday nights since I was a little kid. So, you know, wow. I mean, that was like the big time to me to play on the WWVA Jamboree, and I never will forget walking on the stage the first time with Jimmy. And ain't nobody gonna miss me when I'm gone. I started playing it, kick that tune off, and the crowd was doing like that. Man, I felt 10 feet tall.
My walking shoes don't fit me anymore. My walking shoes don't fit me anymore. Stay on your side of town, honey, I won't be around. My walking shoes don't fit me anymore.
I don't think I've ever recorded a bad song with bad lyrics and a bad meaning yet. If I recorded a happy song, I tried to make it appear happy when I'd sing it in my voice. And if I sung a sad song, I tried to put the sad part in there. If I'm going to sing in a place where a guy's lost his wife, lost his family, there he sits in a beer joint. There we playing a beer joint, and we're singing. I sing him a sad song, he'll sing right along with us. My mother and them used to sing, why would you sing a gospel song in a beer joint? I said, well, that's the saddest people there are in the world. It's lost his wife, lost his family, lost everything, sitting there drinking, tears in his eyes. And you sing him sad songs, you've got him on your side, because he knows what you're talking about. Now, here we are, right there, yeah. Get you now, buddy. Now this is what you call a hillbilly now. Right. Look at him, just cool as a cucumber. Look, watch how smooth he looks. Look at him. Hey Billy, how you doing?
Yeah, all right.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Oh, we've done a lot of hunting together, ain't we, Billy?
Yeah, we're going to do a lot more.
Today we've come up here to buy Hank Williams Sr.
Been offered $300 for that dog 4 or 5 times, different people.
Yeah.
I've just got, so I got this shakes and I ain't able to hunt.
You got what?
Oh, that
you ain't got no damn shakes. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, I can take a nip or two and I don't have, but...
Take a little nip of Red 7.
Yeah.
Well, if you had one, I'd take one with you this morning. It don't make no difference.
Well, we might find some after a while.
Okay, you go up there and get old Hank out there, and I'll write you out a check.
I want to get up here and try to lead horses up.
Okay, get up there and tie him up. I'm taking old Hank away from you here.
Well, we hate that.
Come here, Hank. Come here, son. Let me see if I got a collar fit you. Just barely got one here. Get up in there, Hank. Get up in there, boy. You know that's done. Get in there. Get in there. Okay. Billy, I will take good care of him.
Okay, I know you will.
And we will shoot a lot of rabbits. I'm going to bring him back up here and hunt with you.
If the wrong president gets in, we may be eating all them rabbits.
What is the wrong president?
Well, I'd rather not tell you.
Well, I'll tell you who I want.
Who's that?
Bush.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Give me my dog back. You're good.
That's all right. That don't make us just friends.
No, that don't make a bit of difference, Jimmy.
But he's going to get in there.
Well, they've stole enough votes they are to.
You think so?
Well, they
counted 3 times. They tried to count it.
Well, the record, he was 1,700 ahead, and they run that count on him, and he's 234.
Well, they've took that much from him. They miscounted him somehow.
Oh,
see, I'm a Bush man.
Yeah. yeah. You be sorry for that the next 4 years.
We'll see you, Billy.
Okay.
In 1962, Jimmy moved his family and the Sunny Mountain Boys to Nashville with his sights on becoming a member of the Grand Ole Opry. The timing would seem right. In 1964, he would score his biggest hit in 6 years with the release of the truck-driving song Widowmaker.
Widowmaker, Widowmaker, were the words so bright and big, painted across the bumper of a shiny rig.
He was all positioned to get right on the Opry and be an Opry star, but for whatever reason, that just did not occur.
He had no doubt in his mind that he would be on the Opry. He had that vision, and that was his goal. And well, which that would have been great because that was all of us' goal, to be on the Opry. But it just didn't work out.
It's hard to autograph it on you.
I'm on it right here.
But I wouldn't want you to take it off right in front of it.
I think Jimmy's his own worst enemy. He's made a lot of mistakes, and he's alienated a lot of people that could have helped him had he had let them.
I believe Jimmy Martin is the reason that he never did get on the Grand Ole Opry.
See when that says 1953.
I believe if he would have let his talent speak for itself, he would have been there because he's that good an entertainer. Man, he could entertain that Opry audience every Saturday night. Don't tell me. I was on there and done some guest shots with him. And I tell you what, he would have been the hottest thing on there. I'm not kidding you.
Jimmy was always a little bit too much of a rebel. He was too strong. He was too pure. He was too real. He didn't have enough sense to tone it down, thank God. The same way Little Richard and Jerry Lee never had enough sense to tone it down, thank God. From those terms, if you're looking for a nice little fluffy, experience out of music and to make you feel good, forget about that. Because, when he hits the stage, it's like, cannons going off. And I don't know that the Opry could handle that, especially if he decides to take a snort before he comes out there to sing his song, Then something really crazy happens, and I think he's uncontrollable.
There ain't nothing I love no better than bluegrass music and my fans.
That's exactly right. Without that, you've got nothing.
I ain't got nothing.
That's right.
Without my fans, I have got nothing.
That's exactly right.
I don't need the Grand Ole Opry. The Opry has never done nothing for me but caused me regret of country music because they didn't let me be guest on the Grand Ole Opry, and the Grand Ole Opry has really been mean to me.
They'll never have anybody down at the Grand Ole Opry that will love it and have the passion for it as much as he will. And the Grand Ole Opry cannot help him. At this point in his life, they would be of no regard. It's just something for this little boy's dream to come true. That's what it's all about for him.
Jay says there's a lot of squirrels on here, and we're going to see what my little dog here, my mountain feist, little mountain terry dog, and see if she can trail a couple of squirrels over here for you this evening. And Jay, I appreciate you bringing us out here to your place, sir.
All right, buddy. You know how.
I know you've treated a lot of possums out.
Yeah.
And coons.
Yeah.
Coons.
Yeah.
Let's see if Loretta can trail some squirrels.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna try him out here. You done proved 2 of them. Let's see what kind of squirrel dog you got.
Okay.
Across that creek, Loretta.
Get in there. Get in there. Go get it. Go get it. Well, when you turn a dog out, it takes a little time. They just don't get right straight out and go right in there. They've got to use what we call bathroom and do their little thing. Then they get out and hunt. You can see now she's done gone. She's trying to find one. Five and 10 trees away from where she's looking, where the squirrel can be. They can climb any of them, you know.
Squirrel gets one of these cedars, it's hard to find one just like a coon. But we go up on this hill right here and you leave these cedars, we'll stand a better chance seeing a squirrel, because a lot of cedars down in here. Like I say, it's hard to find one of these cedars.
She'll find one somewhere. A squirrel's a lot harder to tree than a coon.
Oh yeah, a coon's gonna pretty much stay where he's at. That squirrel can move in any tree around.
Jump from tree to tree.
Right. The dog don't see him jump.
Well, now,
he's gonna stay on the tree.
If Loretta ever sees him jump from a tree to tree, he's had it, because she'll be right there on him.
Yeah. Oh, she's a squirrel dog, you can tell that. She's watching up that tree all the time.
Won't see him move.
Won't see him move.
If he moves, his tail's had it, ain't it? She's a long ways in there, ain't she?
Well, there's a house dog down there.
No, that's her.
Well, all right, you know your dog.
Hell yeah, that's her. We might as well get on in there. That's her. Did you tell us her?
Well, I'm not used to her. If it's been Tater now, I can tell you. He's got to be in one of these trees.
No, right there he is. That's
I see
that tree.
I see him. Get him.
Get him out there. Well, he's going. He's running.
Lay it on him. Lay it on him.
Right
hey, you got him, buddy.
No, I didn't. I missed him. I'll get him.
Hey, then you got him. Hey, you burned him that first time.
Oh, he thought he was going to get away from us.
He's on the ground now.
Hey, he's on the ground. No, he's in the skillet.
Yeah, there you go. He go good with them rabbits.
Oh, yeah. Treed three and couldn't find him. I knew that was around somewhere. But we got that one. A lot of tomatoes to slice. A lot of onions to slice. Them onions are about to get to me. I think this is a hot one.
Last year, I just came by just to see the show. And I was hanging around backstage, and Jimmy said, get out here and we'll sing Me and Jesus. Well, we got such a big hand, Jimmy said, come back next year and we'll sing this song again and get everybody all riled up. So I said, well, what do I get out of it? I'm retired and I'm not working. I said, yeah, is there anything to eat? And Jimmy said, what do you want to eat? I said, I want some bologna and rabbit and squirrel and venison.
I'd say we've got probably 30 squirrels and 60 rabbits in there.
How much good is in there?
There's no coon. I promise you, there's no coon, no possum, no bear.
You get a twist on a rabbit in the hollow tree. When we was little boys, we didn't have no gun. My dog would tree him in the hollow tree, and you get up there, and you get that stick between his legs, and just twist him up real tight, and start pulling him down. You'd hear a sound going, all right, all right, all right, all right. I said, boy, he's coming to me now. Tom, you can't hardly beat this.
There's not an animal left alive in Brown County. They're all on the menu.
Jimmy?
I shake the hand of the king. Your king is the greatest.
Thank you.
good. That is good bread, boy. Got jalapeno peppers in it. All kind of greens. It is delicious.
I want to thank you for something. What? I want to thank you for naming one of your coon dogs after me.
Well, he looked like he's the prettiest dog I had.
I want to thank you for something else.
What?
I want to thank you for calling my house at 2 in the morning and yodeling for me.
Anytime you call me at 2 in the morning, I'll do it again.
I didn't call you. I was laying there minding my own business. You hadn't been drinking a beer at all.
No. I've not drank a beer in 10 years.
Quit drinking and took up lying, didn't you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've not been in. I will say this. I've not been in a beer joint, and I bet you, Marty, that I've never drank as much as a case of beer in a year.
How come?
I like Red 7 better. Every time I need you, Mama, should always find you gone. Every time I need you, Mama, should always find you gone. Listen here, sweet Mama, I'm gonna put your air brakes on. Well,
Jimmy Martin, Marty Stewart, and the Sunny Mountain Boys.
During the mid-'60s, based on the success of his Widowmaker album, Jimmy began touring with top country acts such as Hank Williams Jr. and Merle Haggard. During this time, Jimmy and Barbara had 2 more children, Lisa and Buddy, but their struggle to live together continued, and in the fall of '66, they would part ways for the final time. Jimmy fought for custody of the children and won. For the next 2 years, he would raise the children on the road, and they soon became part of his act, sitting in with him and the Sunny Mountain Boys. Then in the fall of 1968, Jimmy's fan club president, Mary Ann Garrison, moved from Pennsylvania to Nashville to help him raise his 4 children.
The longest day I live, I'll still be suffering from the shame. In the gutter you were making yourself quite a name. I wanted you and you wanted anyone you could get. Losing you might be the best thing yet.
In the late '60s and early '70s, Jimmy was asked to do a few guest spots on the Opry, but was never invited to become a permanent member. Despite not being accepted into the Nashville mainstream, Jimmy pushed forward, recording important sides for Decca Records such as Sunny Side of the Mountain and Freeborn Man. Then, in 1972, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band asked Jimmy to join an elite group of country musicians for the recording of the landmark album, Will the Circle Be Unbroken? The album went gold, exposing bluegrass music to a whole new generation of listeners.
That was a great time. I had the enjoyment of my life doing it with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. They were such a good, they loved country music, you know. They wasn't really in the style that I played, but they didn't make it sound bad. They done such a good job. I enjoyed it so much, especially in the recording sessions with Doc Watson, Mother Maybelle, Merle Travis, and Roy Acuff, and Earl Scruggs. How better could you be in the studio with? That's the reason why the album's so great. The first album sold so much greater than the second one. It was pitiful. And it was so much better. It's so more country, what I'm used to.
Released as a single to the Circle album, Jimmy's rendition of the Grand Ole Opry song became his last recording to ever reach the country music charts. 2 years later, in 1974, along with other artists, Jimmy was dropped by MCA Records, formerly Decca, his recording label for the past 16 years. He would spend the next several years on the independent label Gusto, but was no longer generating the quality material that had landed him in the charts during his Decca years.
I think Jimmy's most troubled years were in the late 60s, early 70s, and almost all the 80s. So many personal problems as well as professional.
Country music is not easy. You have to live it, you have to love it, and if you don't love it, you'll never make it. I've had family problems, I've had drinking problems, but I've outlived every bit of it. And my fans have helped me do it. Without them, I could never do it.
How my heart would rejoice when I hear his sweet voice. In the temperance to him I can flee, and there to lean on his arms, safe, secure from all harm, when he reaches down his hands for me. When the Savior reached down for me, when he reached down his hands for me, I was lost and undone, without God or his Son, when he reached down his hands for me.
I don't know if I should say this or not. I wanted to be up here a lot earlier, but looks like they run out anybody to give it to, and they decided to give it to me tonight. This little plaque you give me, I'm going to take it home and put it up in my den or living room with a lot of other awards that you folks have never read about in the Bluegrass Unlimited. I don't get the publicity that I'd like. I want to thank Bill Monroe, who's my idol, who gave me a job back in 1949. Thank you. He really didn't need a lead singer and a guitar player because he had Mac Wiseman. But I sung with him and he took me along, and he always told me and gave me a lot of confidence in myself. He said, Jimmy, I love to put my voice in there with yours, and you got a tone of voice that's right between me and my brother Charlie. And I just love the tone and how you put that lonesome sound in it. And I love to play the mandolin with your guitar and your rhythm. And Bill, I want you to know, I really enjoy singing with you. There can't nobody beat me and Bill Monroe singing bluegrass music, I'll tell you that. Thank you. And the greatest of all is you fans have stuck by me and give me a lot of confidence in the way I play and sing. I appreciate you. I love you. I'll never forget you. One more thing. Thanks to the good Lord for helping me in the hard times. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bill Monroe and Jimmy Martin at the Grand Ole Opry. How about that? A couple of years ago, wasn't it?
That's a picture of me and the Sunny Mountain Boys playing the quarter and dollar and dime machines in Las Vegas at the Golden Nugget. That's Bill Emerson, myself, and Paul Williams and Zeb Collins back in 1960. What a wonderful time we were having there.
Jimmy gave it a different sound and a different twist, and that's what sets him apart. And I think that's why people remember him as a great innovator in bluegrass music. He's really done a lot for this music.
Music is the main thrust of his life. That's where he's coming from. He understands the music so well you know, it's not that I like the sound of it, you know, it's that I made it. It's mine, you know, I made this. Save It, and Sophrony, and Hit Parade of Love, and You Don't Know My Mind, and all these tunes that's all Jimmy, you know, that's his music. It's Jimmy Martin style music. It's not just something that happened because a bunch of guys got together and started thrashing. You know, it's because Jimmy made it that way. I think he's an American treasure. I really do.
People have told me that they enjoyed the way I play bluegrass. And it makes me real happy. You know, there's two kinds of tears that you shed in this world. And that's the tears of sadness and tears of happiness. You're looking at a man has said them all. But bluegrass music and country music has been good to me. I've loved it. Had a good time meeting all the people. I just hate to know that you're getting old and can't get out there and play shows as much as I used to. But I love it. Yes, cry a lonesome heart, but don't cry to me.
It amazes me that as much as Jimmy's accomplished, in his mind he still never made it because the Grand Ole Opry never accepted him for whatever reasons. In my opinion, it's the Opry's lost. But Jimmy's legacy, if you listen to his music, as he told it just like it is, the music speaks for itself. The man speaks for himself. He dared to be different, and he's paid the price for it.
I love country music, bluegrass music, and I feel it when I sing it. No matter where it's the Opry or anybody, they can't take that from me. Yes, cry a lonesome heart, but don't cry to Are they ready for it? Are they ready for it?
Yeah, I guess they're ready for you, Jimmy. Good to have you guys here tonight.
Now don't forget me, little darling, while I'm growing old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm going far away. On the hillside where the wild red roses grow, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. The days we courted many years ago. Don't forget all the promises you gave me, and so I'll be waiting on the hillside when the day you will call. On the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. Please tell me, darling, in your letter
ever think of me. Please answer, little darling, tell me where you can be. It's been so long, dear, since I've seen you, but your love still lingers on. Don't forget me, little darling, though our love affair seems gone.